Traditional fidget spinners are seemingly yesterday's news. Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching a quick first look at a rather novel fidget spinner by a company called PleToy. You can find them on Amazon, and this is a penny fidget spinner. So it has this interesting design that isn't actually real pennies, but it's made out of copper, so it does smell like an actual penny, and you can see three of them, 1 cent in terms of design, both the head and the tail, replicated for the three arms of the spinner. So again, here in June of 2017, there are more and more unique and high-tech versions of fidget spinners coming out, some of them which have LED strips embedded on the sides where you can sync it with a smartphone and then spin it to create this optical illusion. Some of them, again, have a more traditional design like this one, but have a more interesting look than the first generation spinners that we saw a few months ago. Nothing else has really changed, though, as far as the reason behind fidget spinners. They exist as kind of a toy to combat ADHD, to combat stress. So for kids who might struggle with concentration in schools, or maybe even for offices, this could be kind of an interesting gift to consider. This one sells for around 20 bucks, which is average for a relatively premium fidget spinner. You can see it actually is well designed in terms of all the detailing and the patterns. It does really look like an actual penny, but it's slightly larger than a real cent. And you can see, again, "In God We Trust" on one side, Liberty 2005, and on the other side, there's just the United States of America logo. Compared to some other fidget spinners here, you get a better idea of the size comparison. This is a more generic plastic one. You can see this one is slightly smaller, but it's similar to other aluminum and copper fidget spinners we've seen in the past, and the weight is also fairly standard. The end caps can be twisted off if you want to replace them, and there is a logo by the company, which is in the shape of what looks like a tiger on one side. It's fairly comfortable to hold and grip, and you get a pretty good grip on it when you're actually spinning it in your hand. The spin time on this is rated at around 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll do a quick test of that next, but it seems to be decent. It doesn't seem to have too much of an issue as far as moving it around when you're spinning it, so it seems like it's precisely made. As we do a timed test spin, we can see that it creates some interesting optical illusions as it plays with your eyes and the frame rates of the camera, depending on how fast it's spinning and in what direction it seems to be spinning. Otherwise, it's fairly traditional. You can hear that there's definitely a bit of sound in the background. It's not completely silent, so it does have a bit of vibration when you put it on a hard surface, but it seems like it will work for quite a long period of time without actually having to reflick it. Of course, you can perform more complicated tricks as you get used to it and practice using fidget spinners. This one itself, though, you can't actually twist off the end caps and then put a pencil or something and then use it as a top or a pseudo top. However, it does use ceramic ball bearings, so that is the premium type that will, again, supposedly give you the longest spin time. So we see it start to slow down as it reaches the 6-minute 30-second mark. I maybe could have flicked it a little harder, but you can see that it falls a little bit short of the advertised 7-minute spin time, but it still spins for a fairly impressive amount, as long as you're not doing too many things with it, and it's in a relatively flat surface. With that being said, again, it's not completely silent, but if you're holding it in the hands, it does doesn't produce quite as much of a sound. Compared to other fidget spinners here, the plastic one is the one that produces the least amount of noise, both on the surface as well as holding it in the hands. So if you don't want any noise at all, maybe if you're in the office and you don't want to distract other people around you, then this might not be the best version to get, although it certainly is a very eye-catching and unique version that I haven't seen before in terms of its design. So essentially that's it. This has been a quick look at the penny fidget spinner. Definitely an interesting spinner in my opinion, just because of how it looks. It definitely has that copper look as well as smell. So after a few seconds of playing with it, your hands do kind of smell like pennies. So probably have to wash your hands afterwards. But it comes with this decent kind of 10 carrying case if you aren't using it, and at under 20 bucks, it's a decent value if you do want something that's a bit more novel in terms of how it looks compared to average fidget spinners in the market. Spin time is also pretty long, not the longest we've seen, but average for this price point. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been our quick first look at the penny fidget spinner.